As you can see, the Ling's now moving around the map. He wants to make sure there's no other expansion. Coming up here, Evolution Chamber for the Zerg is going to keep upgrading his army. He has a chance to do that now. He doesn't have to focus as much on making units since he is so ahead. In fact, he may go in here for a kill move.
Yeah, this is not looking good for White-Ra. Warping in a lot of more Stalkers, but those Beetles just fly right over them, dealing so much damage while the Zerglings go off and get a nice surface area surround.
GG.
And there's
what a good
game.
Loses that game, brothers.
And wow, that means that Dimaga is 1 game away from winning, I think, his 5th best of 3 in a row. Has played more games than anyone in this tournament yet, and just seems to not slow down no matter what.
I think you're absolutely right. His stamina is really solid here. He's doing a great job. He was put in an awkward position early on with that pylon blocking the hatchery, but he pulled through.
Yeah, Dimaga's play was really impressive. When he was losing the early Mutalisks, I was a little bit scared for him. But the Zergling flank at his 3rd base is actually what turned the tide.
I mean, it was so impressive that, you know, even while that 3rd expansion was dying, that Dimaga was taking a 4th in the bottom right, really exploiting the fact that the map is really wide spread out, so hard for Protoss to be in 2 places at once, even with those Blink Stalkers. So, obviously, by expanding like that, kept catching White-Ra's little small bits of units out of position and just eventually chipped away at his army till it was gone.
That's right. That's what any Mutalisk build aims to do. You want to chip away, chip away, chip away, and eventually you get so many Mutalisks in your flock, and he has taken so much little damage, it adds up, and you can actually win the big fight, which is what we saw at that 3rd base of Dimaga.
Extremely impressive. And the next game, we'll be on Zelnaga Caverns. This is a map that a lot of Zerg players like because it has the same sort of theme to Metalopolis. Big spread out spaces and very easy to take more expansions.
Okay, we're ready and we're short on time, so I'm going to get this started. Let's make some noise.
Cannot believe that Dimaga is just 1 game away from being in the losers bracket final against Next Genius. That would be a very cool mix of 1 Terran, 1 Protoss, and 1 Zerg in the top 3, but let's see if he has enough endurance to get there.
Over here at the bottom left, we have Dimaga. Does anybody think Dimaga can win this series? Up here at the top right, we have White-Ra using the ID Duckload-ra, but we will call him White-Ra since that's what he's better known as. Any White-Ra fans out there?
How can you not be a White-Ra fan? This guy is actually the nicest human being I have ever met.
He's a charming fellow.
Yeah, he is a great guy.
He's 30 years old, right?
Yeah.
30-year-old pro gamer.
And just to show you how busy his life is, he just got married, and he just made the top 8 of WCG Grand Finals in Starcraft 1. So this guy is actually all around the world being a family man, winning tournaments in multiple games.
He's a total nerd baller, man. He is just dominating. And as you can see, he's going to go for, looks like 1 base play, not fast expand, because of course, this region, very difficult to defend on all sides if you expand. And it's also quite tough for Zerg as well, because as you can see, if Zerg takes an expansion here, there's a large concave here that he has to defend.
But White-Ra already doing something very interesting. If we go back to main, he actually was not spending any chrono boost on his probes. He was saving it up and is only just now boosted since he's planted a relatively early gateway down, so there's a lot of potential for him to have aggression as that chrono boost does let you build units a little bit faster.
That's right, that would have been a really great move had Dimaga chosen to go 14 hatchery, but as we've seen, Dimaga is getting a spawning pool and gas right now, so he will be able to easily defend any Zealot rushes.
He might make a pylon here, or he's just going to make the probe run laps, I guess. But he does have the possibility of doing that, blocking off the drone. A pylon gateway and then a 2nd pylon here. What do you guys think of this?
Well, it's a very economy. He's going to have a slower unit coming out, and he's going to be able to get...
Uh-oh, we've lost the screen, so we better do some great descriptions of what is going on right now.
So I'm sure, look at that fix.
At the front of his base, oh my god, a probe is blocking the hatch expansion.
He's got carriers, he got him so fast. No, I'm sure look at that fix pretty soon. So yeah, we'll just let you guys know what's going on. Nothing too in-depth right now.
Yeah. Don't worry, nothing too exciting.
Nothing happened
yet. Zealots making, some Zerglings are making.
And yeah, for the time being, it looks like he's just going to go ahead and get a cybernetic score. And
hey, Dunko.
We're going to pause the game here. So.
Yeah, BlizzCon!
That's interesting. You guys go ahead and talk to him.
Well, if by you guys you mean me, because Day 9 has disappeared. All right. All right.
All right.
Well,
continue to broadcast.
Looks like we are going to start it back up in a moment here.
as soon as I get these screens fixed, we're going to go back in this. The game is paused. So just sit tight. We're going to have somebody tell the players what's going on. They're probably a little bit confused. So really interesting games that we've seen so far. Remember this map, one-on-one maps. You can see some very interesting warp gate rushes and stuff like that.
So I'm actually going to take a little break from the stage. I'll let Nick and Artosis entertain you. They will be juggling up here while I run off to find out what is up. It seems the screen is at least doing something, but I will be back.
Yeah, the screen is sitting there, and we are waiting for this. Poor White-ra and Dimaga. Never fun to have this happen.
We need White-ra to chrono boost the power thing at BlizzCon and get this working again here.
Well, he doesn't need it for the Zealots, man, because
right.
Dimaga's doing a very safe opener.
He's saving those chrono boosts, so yeah, maybe we can get that fixed. Dimaga is looking pretty good in this series so far.
Yeah,
looking very solid.
Dimaga is a sicko, man. Total badass.
We have it. Screen is still not up, but sit tight, guys. I'm sure this will be fixed pretty soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, I found out that the production team is out of electricity. They ran out of power.
Wow.
So they're going to go to the store and get some more, so they should be back shortly.
That is a lot of batteries, Day 9.
Indeed. Their AA's expended.
So I guess this will be interesting to see how long this goes on for, but you know, what's interesting in a moment like this, you know, one thing about esports is that is through, you know, technology and stuff like that. So when stuff like this happens, it can kind of change the whole setup of the game, because, for instance, these two guys, they started out, they've seen each other's builds, and now we've paused it. So now they're going to have some time to reflect on what they're going to do. I don't know, have you ever had this experience as a pro gamer? Because I have.
Yeah, of course. It happens all the time. But let's right now talk about the tournament, what's happened so far, who's left in it. A few very interesting things. These two players, White-ra and Dimaga, they mostly play European server and the Russian server, and they actually came here on the Russian invites. Now, who else is left in the tournament? We have a Korean from the Korean server, Next Genius. He's waiting for the winner here. And then in the finals, we're going to have Loner from China. So this is 3 different regions, possibly 3 different races as well. I'd say that's balanced.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, we hear noises from the audience, but I won't let that distract me. I'll go on.
You know, and oftentimes that player that you're talking about is, in fact, Dimaga. It doesn't matter what state the game is in, patch-wise. This guy just plows right through, shows us all these interesting ways to play Zerg, and his tactics, his macro, his micro, they're all astounding.
Absolutely. I mean, especially way back pre-patch, when you could get Reapers with speed very, very easily. A lot of Zerg players, such as Artosis, I know, has had many stories of rage-inducing Reaper aggression.
Right.
But Dimaga seemed to be one of those Zergs who could really just deal with it in stride and get huge numbers of Banelings and Mutalisks.
He's way cooler than me, man.
No, he is just a solid player. His defense early on is quite good. I was really impressed with game 1. We have the main screen working now. We kind of have power back, so sit tight, guys. We're going to get that fixed in just a minute.
So either way, I mean, White-ra's also had a very awesome... Oh! Hey! People in the back can see us now as well, so we're just going to get confirmation if we should in fact be resuming the game, because we have to make sure that the people from the internet can also be watching as well.
Yeah. So I think we're good on this. All right, I'm just going to get confirmation that they're ready.
All right, it looks like we are going to be going directly back into the game. The players are ready, and as usual, they are still enthusiastic and smiling. Oh, no problem, just had a nice little break mid-game, and here we are returning back.
We're back into this,
game
so get back onto the game screen. The game is live now.
All right, pretty exciting. It is time, and these guys both have had a long time to think about exactly what they want to do. That's a funny thing that happens during pauses. You actually look around the whole map and, you know, try to think, okay, what's my next action?
Yeah.
How am I going to really win this game?
So it looks like he's going to get the warp gate, and we could see multiple gateways coming out here to do the warp gate rush. As I did mention before, this region, if you could follow my mouse cursor here, is very large, so if you're forced into making spine crawlers, you have to make way more than you would like to.
That's right. You don't really want to use spine crawlers on this map. Maybe 1 or 2 to shore defenses at key locations. But a lot of the time we see speedlings mixed with roaches to hold warp gate rushes on this map. And now something very interesting. White-ra is getting both of his gases right now. This means he's going to need a lot of gas. Normally in this matchup that's used for a lot of sentries, which would mean a very strong warp gate rush. But also he could tech to something else that we don't see that often.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him do some sort of blink stalker play, as there are a couple of key ridges right next to that expansion of Dimaga's to the right, where you can blink up and down and exploit the fact that Zerglings and Roaches are melee or very short-range units. So it looks like still stalkers coming out of White Raw's gateways. No, there are some sentries. So it looks like he's going to be moving into just a typical 3-gate play, allowing them to do a little push, but also to get that expo up pretty quick.
The gateways are almost done. You can see he's peaked with the Lings here. Let's see if he actually has... He's actually seen one gateway, excuse me, he has not spotted these two back here. He's going to peek again. Sees 2, sees 3, so he knows what's going on. Hedges back out of there.
Yeah, that's one reason you don't really want to make all your gateways in the same location. A Zergling might be able to spot them. And now, as we see, Dimaga is pumping out the Speedlings. About 14 more are making right now. And he has got just a lot of 29 so far. He may be able to just crush whatever it is White Raw is about to do.
White Raw is going to go for an expansion. Now, he made it look like he only had this number of Zerglings, but he's actually hiding a ton over here. So you can see the Protoss feels comfortable. He tries to edge out on the map and bully these Zerglings away. And but in fact, there's a ton of Lings that are going to come up here.
And another 16 in production. Look at how many are in the top left. That is a huge swell of Zerglings. Meanwhile, in the main of Dimaga, good number of drones, but then in the expansion, absolutely no drones at all are mining. And it looks like Dimaga is poking at White Raw's Nexus, trying to get White Raw to pull those units into an unfavorable spot, but White Raw could lose the game with this push right here.
Oh, here it comes. The Zerglings are coming in towards the natural. Can they surround these units? They are in the wrong position. Nice force field. And he has got to turn around now. He can go after the Nexus, and that army is trapped there for now. If he can make White Raw cancel this Nexus, he's still going to be in an okay position.
He decides to go in and attack again. I don't think this was a wise decision here.
Yeah, he's really being funneled into a small location. Those Zealots doing a ton of damage. Only one Stalker taken off, and Dimaga has lost so many Zerglings. White Raw holds that off perfectly.
I mean, just click on some of these Stalkers. 8 kills, 2 kills, 7 kills, 9 kills. Has done so much damage to those Zerglings with those well-placed force fields. 4th gateway up, Expo down right now for White Raw. And in the meantime, it looks like Dimaga has just decided that he is all in. He is not stopping the Ling production no matter what.
Well, he's basically 2 behind at this point in time. He can't actually catch up. So he's going to try one more big swing here to try to take him out. But I don't believe it's going to work. It should be almost impossible to recover from a situation like this. As you can see, only 1 drone of this expansion, and this is not even saturated, so this is a tough situation for the Zerg.
And we see that Dimaga is making so many more Zerglings as these cannons warp in. As long as he has enough sentry energy, he should be able to stop the Zerglings. That is really the weakness of mass Zergling strategies against Protoss.
Indeed. I mean, those force fields can easily funnel the Zerglings in whatever shape you want. It looks like Dimaga still trying to be annoying nearby the expansion by poking in, picking off maybe 1 or 2 probes at the very least, making White Raw not move out for an attack, but it looks like that's exactly what White Raw's doing. Uh-oh, there's a lot of Zerglings well positioned here for Dimaga. He's going to try to do the surround. There's from the front and from the back at the same time, and there's the money force field, absolutely protecting all of those Stalkers. It doesn't even matter that Stalkers don't perform too well against Zerglings. The force fields prevent them from ever even making contact.
Now, he is spending a lot of force field energy, so Dimaga keeps on pumping Lings. If he can destroy this whole... Ooh, nice little harassment there. But if he can destroy this whole army of White Raw, he may be able to either recover his economy or go in for the kill.
And here comes the big push by White Raw, even building a pylon right there outside the front. He really wants to go for the kill now, but the unit AI is glitching, and he is now throwing down a ton of key force fields, doing a lot of damage to the Zergling. Dimaga has almost nothing, just a handful of Zerglings and 1 Queen, and White Raw is in golden spot to take this win, and there's the GG. And the smiley face, too.
So, we're 1-1 right now. Tell them what you guys think.
How many times have we actually seen between StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2, we're towards the top of the tournament, Dimaga and White Raw are 1-1, it's deja vu.
Yeah, now that you mention that, that's actually kind of creepy how often that happens, both in StarCraft 1 and in StarCraft 2. These players, great friends, and of course, awesome rivals in SC2. And I'm a little curious what you think about that big mass Zergling play, because it seemed to put Dimaga a little bit behind in the first game, and it was clearly his undoing in the second game. He just had absolutely no economy.
Yeah, in the second game there, I felt like he really misplayed. He had some good opportunities to do damage. Like when those force fields came up, basically Dimaga could have run back, targeted the Nexus, made it cancel 100%, maybe try to dart up the ramp, make him waste the force field there, and just poke around more. Instead, he just attacked into a little choke.